So don't worry, I'm not going to try and sum up the whole day, except to say that the conversation has been rather disconcerting at times, certainly informative and enlightening, and from the point of view of the Children's Media Foundation, and we hope the industry represented in its various forms here today, extremely useful. Following all today's excellent sessions, I'm sure there's still a lot to say, so please feel free to send your thoughts to CMF by email or comment on the sign-up pages on the CMF website. All the views expressed today now need to reach those who are involved in policy formulation. They need to explore the ideas further and deeper and commit to do something about it. I'm pleased to say that we don't have to follow Julian's suggestion this morning of hunting them out, as there are representatives here from Ofcom who are concluding the Children's Review right now, which they'll publish later in the year. And they're about to go into their 5-yearly PSB review, which looks back over the last 5 years of performance and forward to the future, and will conclude with recommendations for action by government and the industry. Now, Ofcom have assured us that the retrospective PSB review will definitely draw on their research into children's viewing and the state of the children's media market. And the forward-looking strategic review will look at children's content not just to reflect on whether the PSBs are delivering for children, but also to examine the wider industry context in terms of market trends, children's consumption habits, and attitudinal changes. They'll also take account of regulatory changes, especially the media bill, which is likely to be passed later this year. So they'll start to monitor how the sector responds to all the changed regulation. They describe the PSB review as a holistic look at the key issues in broadcasting and media, and importantly, a platform for recommendations to government. Now, we're delighted they are here and listening, and we hope that since it's their research over the last 15 years that has identified the massive change in the children's market and market failure, that they will take the concerns expressed today as really serious issues, not just for the children's media industry, but for Britain as a coherent, vibrant, positive and child-friendly society, and most of all, for all the kids that are missing out. Now, thinking about the media bill brings us to the others in the room who we hope will take back the message that this is the time for action. These are the representatives of the DCMS. There are the representatives of the DCMS here. The Children's Media Foundation, along with others in the campaign over the last 18 months, has met the relevant government ministers and their front bench equivalents in the opposition to bring to their attention the situation outlined in the document that you were asked to support earlier this afternoon. They have been made aware, and we now need them to act. Unfortunately, the media bill as it currently stands doesn't in any way address the issues we've been talking about today. Yes, children's is a protected public service genre, along with news, but as we have heard today, that is relatively meaningless when so many children are not watching on the platforms that we regulated, the BBC and the commercial PSBs. This just isn't where the audience is, should I say. The Act also regulates some streaming services and smart TVs to ensure they give prominence to the PSB's online services, the same services that children and young people are not significantly using. So that is why we are here today, to persuade the powers that be that we need to go beyond the provisions in the media bill and give serious thought to some radical ideas about the future of public service media and content in the UK. That kids and teenagers have raced ahead and away, and this needs to be taken into account. We have already seen some political progress. A Labour amendment to the media bill calling for the government that within 6 months of the bill becoming law to commit to a full investigation of the issues in the children's sector. It didn't pass, but it has set a marker down for what needs to be done. So that brings us to our final act for the day, which is to present to you one further document that the Children's Media Foundation intends to put to government and politicians. It sums up some of the solutions discussed today, solutions to the problems of funding and the problem in finding, to create a new public service system which ensures relevant and appropriate UK-produced content is given prominence on all the platforms where children are watching, and potentially even where they are playing. A new public service for the new ways of consuming content. The ideas in this document are broad and they're not research costed or tested. The industry consultation group that came together to steer us towards the event, to this event, discussed them, but didn't agree on all of them by any means. But this is a list, it's a shopping list, if you like, of what is worthy of investigation. New ideas for new forms of funding and support, and for incentives or regulation to ensure the content gets seen. As you leave, we'll distribute the proposals for change we think reflect the ideas, and some of the ideas expressed here today. These two documents are the core of our proposals to government. The first, a clear and widely supported analysis of the issues that the politicians are not aware of. The second, a list of proposals that need to be investigated fully to lead to change. We hope you will sign up to support this approach via the CMF website. Now, before I finish and bring the day to close, it'd be remiss of me not to thank a number of people that have worked incredibly hard. Emma's already mentioned some of them, but it's worth mentioning again, I think, in arranging today, but also countless hours, days and nights in preparation. So huge thanks to the consultative group who, as you heard, debated long, 9 hours, and hard the issues. To Emma for chairing those meetings, and today, and today's, and to Raj and Paul for their much appreciated contributions. Thanks also to the session producers, Joe Godwin, Alison Stewart, Colin Ward and Jackie Edwards, and special mention to Greg for overseeing and managing the whole process. Thanks to all today's contributors and volunteers, and of course to Anna Hume, who created CMF 12 years ago because it matters what children watch. Now finally, to come back to what I said at the beginning, Baroness Benjamin has many times in many meetings pleaded with the industry to come together and speak with one voice. And as we all know, what Flolo asks for, we should all comply with. So this is us, coming together, not just as an industry seeking support, but as a group of professionals who care about the audience we serve, about childhood as a component of what binds the nation together, and about the rights of children and young people to see themselves as they are, and the world as it is, in all its diversity and complexity, and for their media experiences to be meaningful and purposeful, as well as entertaining and joyful. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for your support.